Is your site ADA compliant? If not, fix your site. Huge well-known websites have recently been named in lawsuits related to website accessibility and the Americans with Disabilities Act, otherwise known as ADA. In 2018, more than 2,000 website accessibility lawsuits got filed, emphasizing the increasing importance of focusing on ADA compliance. Keep watching to find out whether the Americans with Disabilities Act applies to your site. Then check the link in the description box below to learn how to make a website ADA compliant. ADA compliance refers to meeting the standards set by the Americans with Disabilities Act for accessible design in business. This act covers the accessibility of electronic and information technology, like the internet and its websites, as well as physical business locations. Even if the ADA does not apply to your business, you should make ADA compliance a priority. ADA compliance applies to websites too. A historic Supreme Court judgment caused an overnight surge in a number of website owners suddenly being sued because of non-compliance with ADA. If the Americans with Disabilities Act applies to your company and you have a website, you must make it accessible to everyone. If your website does not comply with ADA guidelines, you may face legal action and substantial fines. It's time for you to check, find out, and be sure your website is ADA compliant. You have a few alternatives for determining whether or not your site complies to the ADA, including Wave and Google Lighthouse, the two free ADA compliance checking applications that evaluate at color contrast, text size, image alt text, and other factors on a website. If you want to check your site for ADA compliance, you can find a tool in the description box below that will work. A manual audit can also be used to assess your website for ADA compliance. Using the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, a manual audit entails reviewing every page of your website for accessibility. Even if you utilize a technology like Wave, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines will be used to evaluate and grade your site. Every visitor to your website should be able to navigate it and use its features. Including instructions on how to use a widget allows everyone to benefit from your site's capabilities. An ADA-compliant website must provide the same quality of service to all visitors. In most circumstances, a manual audit isn't feasible for organizations, especially when the consequences of failing to satisfy ADA regulations are considered. To guarantee your enterprise prepares the best plan for becoming ADA compliant, use a tool or invest in a professional assessment. When it comes to reviewing a website for ADA compliance, a professional ADA audit is another alternative. Whether or if you should invest in a professional audit depends on your company. If you don't have the time or don't feel comfortable auditing your site, it's a good idea to engage an agency and delegate the task to them. A professional audit is when you pay someone, usually an agency, to assess the accessibility of your website. They examine your website using the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines and offer a plan for making it ADA compliant. In-house development of an ADA-compliant website is also an option for businesses. If your organization has the ways and means to form a design and development team to audit your site, you can internally ensure that it complies with ADA guidelines. To learn more about making your site ADA compliant in-house, look at the full Web Content Accessibility Guidelines checklist. An ADA-compliant web design agency is the most straightforward solution for most businesses. You receive a quicker and more reliable option for updating your site when you hire a professional web design service. Just be aware that your enterprise could face significant fines and litigation if it isn't ADA compliant. If you are looking to make your website ADA compliant, but need help, follow the link in the description box.